And we are live. Hey guys, let me pull up the chat room real quick. That way, I'll be able to interact with you guys. There it goes. We are back with our third week of Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. The two of us who are here watching now. We're gonna be doing chapters 7 through 9. If I can find, there it is, chapter 7. I'm not going to do a full plot recap like I was doing with the Justice League Golden Opportunity book, because I assume we've all seen Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. If not, then I'm not sure what you're doing here. But essentially, where we did leave off was like right after the interstate chase, where Dick Grayson's trying to track down Barbara after she got kidnapped. This whole thing happened. There's illustrations in the book, you know. So that's where we are. Oh, there's 6 of us now. That's nice. Well, howdy, Den and Milo. But yeah, so we're on chapter 7. I'm just going to go ahead and kick it off. And then, you know, I'll go after you guys' reactions and all that stuff. Is this just a novelization of the movie? Yes. There's like a couple more things added in to it so far. Like just expanding on scenes that we've already seen, a little bit of extra dialogue, stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much it's just a novelization of the film. But I'm going to go ahead and hop right into chapter 7. A hand gently slapped Barbara on her cheek. She opened her eyes and slowly came to. "Where am I?" she mumbled. She was lying in a bed, but the room around her was a blur. Gradually, the face bending over her came into focus. Whoever it was, he seemed to be conducting some sort of examination. Barbara jerked upright as she recalled being kidnapped by Mr. Freeze earlier in the evening. "Who are you?" Gregory Belson pushed her back onto the bed. "I'm a doctor," he said. "Keep still." The next thing she heard was pills being shaken out of a bottle. Belson held a handful in front of her. "Take these," he said. "You'll feel better." In reply, Barbara gave his hand a good smack. The pills flew across the room. As Belson watched them in surprise, she planted her feet firmly in his chest. He flew backwards, following the pills. I'm wondering, like, what kind of pills these were, because obviously they're wanting to do surgery on a grape. No, they're wanting to do surgery on her to like get things fixed with Nora. So, like, is he trying to put her back under, I guess? Barbara leaped up, grabbed him by the shirt, and shook him. "Why'd you kidnap me?" she demanded fiercely. Belson only smiled in reply. A second later, a powerful hand lifted Barbara by the back of her dress and flung her face first into the bed. "Silence!" a new voice commanded. Barbara turned and looked up to the red goggles of Mr. Freeze blazing at her. He thrust more pills at her in his gloved hand. His voice was low and threatening. "Do as you're told. Take them." Barbara grimaced and knocked his hand away with a swift blow. Freeze's goggles burned furiously. He raised his hand to strike her, but Belson grabbed it. Freeze glared at him. "Miss Gordon obviously prefers not to take any medication right now," Belson said in a calm voice. He led Freeze to the door, adding, "Why don't we give her some time to herself?" "I want to know what's going on here," Barbara demanded. In answer, the door slammed shut with a metallic clang. Barbara attacked it with both fists, but it was no use. She slumped to the floor, her face in her hands. Through her fingers, she looked down at her lap. She was still wearing her party dress. It looked ridiculous now, she thought. She hated it. She needed her Batgirl outfit. "Okay," she murmured to herself. "Enough self-pity." She got to her feet and looked around the room. It was a cold, windowless rectangle. The door was heavy steel, but that didn't mean she would give in. She looked up. An air vent opened in the ceiling. It was 20 feet up, well out of her reach. but a heavy pipe ran across the room 3 feet below the ceiling. Barbara climbed up on the bed and began to calculate the effort it would take to jump to the pipe. James Gordon leaped out of the squad car and ran into the lobby of Gotham General Hospital. Bullock, Montoya, and several other detectives were waiting for him. Gordon's jaw was set in a grim combination of anger and worry. I want checkpoints in a 20-mile radius at I-13, I-54, and out to Route 27, he commanded. The detectives, jotting down notes, followed him to a waiting elevator. Choppers in the air with infrared scopes and a door-to-door search of every possible hideout within 50 miles. Gordon continued as the elevator doors closed. Montoya, set up a command post in the operations room. Right, Chief, Montoya said. Gordon turned to Bullock. Did you get a rundown on the license plate? It's a stolen van, Bullock replied. They found it ditched in Briscoe Canyon about an hour ago. All right, this pretty rugged terrain. They can't have gotten too far. They're on foot, Gordon said. The elevator doors opened and he marched down the hallway, speaking briskly. Set up checkpoints in a 20-mile radius around the canyon and search every inch, all the way down to the ocean, and I mean every single inch. Gordon stopped at the door to a hospital room. Looking back at the officers, he barked, Come on, people! A guy in a weird suit with 2 polar bears can't be hard to spot. I want my daughter found, and I want her found now. Don't worry, sir. We're on it, a lieutenant said. Gordon slammed his palm against the door. Then why are you still here talking to me? The lieutenant turned sheepishly to his colleagues. Come on, let's move out. Gordon watched them go, frustration lining his face. Then he went into the room, followed by Bullock. Dick was sitting on the edge of the hospital bed. He winced in pain as a nurse wrapped his ribs with bandages. Bruce Wayne watched at his side. Dick, you okay? Gordon asked. Dick hung his head. I'm sorry, Commissioner. I tried to stop him. I know, Dick. When I get my hands on this guy... Gordon flexed his fingers into a fist. Jim, why would Freeze want Barbara? Bruce wondered. Gordon shook his head and let out a deep sigh. I don't know, he said in a hoarse voice. How did he know she was at the nightclub? Dick said. Bullock looked at his notes. Her roommate said someone called from the hospital with an emergency. Barbara's listed as a blood donor. Did the roommate get a name? Gordon asked. No, the guy hung up on her. Get a hold of the phone records and see if you could trace the call, Gordon ordered his detectives. Montoya poked her head in the room. Commissioner, the rest of the witnesses are ready for interrogation. Gordon headed for the door. On my way! He stopped, spun on his heel, and said to Dick, Thanks again for trying to save my girl. Dick gave a dejected nod. The nurse finished wrapping Dick's bandages and went to the room's computer terminal. Mr. Grayson, she asked, what is your blood type? Oh, positive, Dick answered. Bruce watched her type it in. I need to get you down to X-ray, the nurse said. Wait here, I'll get a wheelchair. After she left, Bruce nodded to Dick and shut the door. Bruce started typing on the computer keyboard. He went through several menus before he found what he was looking for. Blood donor list. He typed in Barbara's name. Her information came up. Does it say who accessed her file? Dick asked. No. Bruce double-clicked on her blood type, AB negative. A short list of names appeared. She has a rare blood type, Bruce said, reading. Not many others on the list. Then his eyes narrowed. Wait a minute. Look at this. Nora Freeze? Dick asked. Victor Freeze's wife, Bruce said. Their heads slowly turned and they looked at each other as the same idea dawned on them simultaneously. So that's chapter 7. For those of you who haven't been with me before, in between chapters, I plug notes into a canonicity and timing spreadsheet that we have for Watchtower Database purposes. So the first column is for appearances, like characters or whatever. Since since this book is like all, since it's all one book, I only put new characters down. And I'm trying to think if there were any. We've already got Gregory Belson. We've got Freeze. We've got Batgirl. We've got Commissioner Gordon. Do we have Bullock already? If we don't have Bullock and Montoya, then those are... Yeah, so we don't have Bullock yet, and we don't have Montoya. Okay, so Harvey Bullock, Renee Montoya, then there was an unnamed lieutenant, and an unnamed nurse. And I'm pretty sure I already mentioned... I feel like I had put Barbara's, maybe I didn't. Barbara's roommate. Oh, no, Barbara's roommate is named Jenny. Okay, so yeah, I got her. The next column that we've got is for stuff that could make it non-canon, since it's a novelization of something we've seen on screen. Basically, it fits canon pretty well. The only thing that seems to have goofed so far is that Gregory Belson's driving a Porsche in the book, when apparently in the movie he drives a Jaguar. But like that was a couple chapters ago. I've already got that listed. Nothing new in this chapter. As far as the next column is in-show events, which is basically the whole book. Then the next column is mentions of time, which I don't think we had any like really prevalent ones. I think they may have said like how long ago the car was found. They found it ditched in Briscoe Canyon about an hour ago. So, you know, not too much. It's been at least an hour since Barbara was kidnapped. But, you know, like, stuff like that doesn't really help anything too much unless it's like, oh, it's been 24 hours, 25 hours. And then you're like, oh, but then it's been a whole day kind of stuff. But, you know, just for completion's sake, I'll put it in. Stuff with like a concrete origin is the next column. So that's anything that like actually had an origin episode, Mr. Freeze, Batgirl, etc., etc., etc. Which, yeah, it's been them throughout the book. The next column is for stuff like pop culture. There was nothing like that in this chapter. Weather, there wasn't really anything there. And then other clues, which it doesn't seem there's any. So we are good there. What you guys talking about in the chat? Let me see what you guys are up to. Is Superman the animated series coming to Blu-ray soon? I hope. I haven't heard if it is, but I hope. Hashtag Shelby the Smooth Collie. If only he was here to stop this evil plan. Honestly, that's probably what the Near Apocalypse of 2009 is Ra's al Ghul almost kills Shelby the Smooth Collie, and Batman has to stop that. Lack of bedside manners, Doctor. Yay, I'm late. Hi, ATM fall off boy. You're not too late. So that's good. Bullock voice is Southern. Yeah, I'm trying to give a little drawl to it. I can't really do the New York accent too well. I'm gonna play Minecraft hardcore while I listen to this. I never got into Minecraft. My little brother was into it, and my stepdad for a little while, but I never really was into it. New setup. Yeah. So James and I are talking about potentially bringing this over to the main channel. Because it'll end up getting more views that way, and if somebody wants to like super chat anything, since my monetization isn't on, because you have to have like 1,000 subscribers to do that, doing it on the actual main channel will help with that. So James was like, hey, try to get a setup going on that will look nice. So that's what this is. We might toy with it a little bit as far as like lighting and all that stuff goes, but we're we're working on some stuff. We're at least going to finish this book out before moving it to the main channel. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I am playing Doom right now. Thanos Doom. I haven't been playing like any video games in a while. I like the last what was the last game I played? It was probably, was it Kingdom Hearts 3, I think. I tried to start playing Spider-Man PS4 the other night, but I was already I had been trying to play Tony Hawk like all day, and my PS2 is glitching out to where like every controller that I plug into it is holding the left button down way too heavy. It can't be the controllers because I've plugged in like 4 different controllers, and so my PS2 just I can't play Tony Hawk right now. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll start playing Spider-Man, and it wasn't what I wanted it to be, because I wanted it to be Tony Hawk. Have I ever played the Arkham games? Yes, I've played all 4 of them. I haven't played Origins Blackgate. Well, I started playing Origins Blackgate, but I haven't finished it because when my ex and I broke up, she took the 3DS and I took the Wii U, because she had bought the Wii U and I had bought the 3DS, but I bought most of the games for the Wii U and she bought most of the games for the 3DS. So we just kind of swapped and switched the consoles. So James is making fun of my apartment. No, he just like having the fridge in the background's not, too much of an appealing thing to watch, I guess, for a wider audience. But yeah, now that I'm caught up, I guess let's hop into chapter 8. Is there a oh yeah, we get an illustration this chapter. Tight. It's on the PS3 store. Oh, I can't I've been trying to something happened with my PS3 to where it logged me out of my PlayStation Network account, and now the internet won't sync up on my PS3. It's really difficult to try to figure out because we're using an Xfinity hotspot rather than Wi-Fi, like that we are purchasing ourselves. Because my girlfriend's mom has an Xfinity account that she lets us use, and it helps us, cut down on stuff. And so I haven't been able to get into my PSN account on my PS3, and it's upsetting me a lot because like I have so much Rock Band DLC and stuff, and I don't want that to be lost to time. But yeah, let's just jump back into chapter 8. The mattress was on the floor, and Barbara was jumping up and down on the bed springs as if they were a trampoline. Why would you start the chapter like that? You just said like, hey, there's a pole. Like literally, chapter 7. It was. She looked the air vent on the ceiling. It was 20 feet up, well out of her reach, but a heavy pipe ran across the room 3 feet below the ceiling. Okay, so I guess she still had to get 17 feet up. But is a mattress really going to give you that much jump to get up 17 feet? That's... Hey, come on, Barbara. The mattress was on the floor, and Barbara was jumping up and down on the bed springs as if they were a trampoline. Up she went, but not quite high enough. Up a little farther and back down. With every jump, she came closer to the ceiling. One more, she gasped. On this jump, her fingers brushed the pipe running across the ceiling. She came back down, then put everything she had into one more big jump up and grabbed it. She hung by one arm for a moment. Her other hand held a smashed piece of the bedpost. She used it to pry at the grate that covered the air vent in the ceiling. At that moment, she heard a key in the door. She pried more forcefully at the grate. Finally, it went clanging to the floor. She lifted herself into the ceiling vent. Freeze and Belson rushed into the room a second later. Glancing back, Barbara saw Freeze pick up the grate and puzzle over it for a moment. He looked up at the ceiling, and his red eyes met hers for a split second. Barbara scrambled to safety inside the vent just as Freeze drew his gun. How in the world? She heard Belson marvel. Barbara crawled as fast as she could through the duct. A rumble came from below her. Then icicles spiked up into the air shaft. She kicked at them, breaking them off as she slithered ahead. She knew Freeze and Belson could hear her movements. Footsteps clattered below her, followed by the chilling sound of Freeze's gun firing. Icicles stabbed into the shaft all around Barbara. She kicked and broke them as fast as they appeared. And then she heard a panel being removed from the duct. Belson's head popped up directly in front of her. She scrambled back out of the way as he grabbed at her. Belson climbed into the shaft. Barbara crawled back, looking desperately for another duct. She found one and took a right. "She's headed toward the northwest corner," Belson called down to Freeze. Barbara heard Freeze dash out of the room. Sweat accumulated down her back as she crawled through the air duct system as fast as her knees and elbows could carry her. She took a left, then another right. Belson kept after her. Then suddenly she hit a dead end. She punched out the grate to the room below as she dropped into it. She realized that the giant space was a laboratory. It was a bizarre scene. The walls were coated with ice. An eerie waist-high mist snaked up from the floor. The only sound was a regular on and off whoosh, hiss, whoosh, hiss. The room was frigid. Barbara shivered and hugged herself. She moved cautiously toward the sound. All she could see were icicles hanging from the ceiling. Suddenly, she bumped into a long table. She looked down and drew in a sharp, cold breath. A dead woman lay before her. Barbara looked closer. The woman was hooked up to an array of machines by wires and tubes. The instruments appeared to be monitoring her vital signs. Lights blinked on and off, ghostly and silent, like ominous fireflies in the night. The whoosh and hiss were air being pumped into the woman's lungs. Was she really dead or being kept alive? The woman appeared to be floating in the ghostly mist of the room, as if disconnected from the earth. Suspended animation, thought Barbara. Her own breath came out in a cloud in front of her. She leaned over the table to examine the woman. "So beautiful," Barbara whispered. "So young, so strange to be kept like this." Barbara put a gentle hand to the woman's neck to feel for a pulse. All was still, except for the whoosh and hiss of an artificial breath. A sudden clang made Barbara jump back with a start. She lifted her hand to her own neck and looked in the direction of the sound. The figure of Mr. Freeze stood in the doorway, rimmed by icy fog. Light from the hallway behind framed him. His red eyes seethed with rage. "Get away from her!" His voice revealed as much panic as anger. Barbara reacted quickly. She grabbed a metal bar from a nearby counter and held it in front of her, ready to use it. "Get away from me!" she warned. She heard a noise and spun around. Belson had finally reached the vent opening. He dropped into the room behind her. "Give it up, Miss Gordon," he said in a soothing voice. "There's no place to run now. Calm down. We should all just calm down." Barbara responded by smashing a row of glass beakers with her weapon. "You calm down. I want to know what I'm doing here." "I'm Dr. Gregory Belson. That's Dr. Victor Freeze. I know who he is," Barbara answered sharply. She shook the iron bar at Freeze. "Everyone in Gotham knows you." Then she gestured at the woman. Her voice took a quieter tone. "And I know who that is, too. I thought your wife was dead." Freeze's rage burst forth again. "Get away! Now!" Belson tried to pacify them both. "She will be dead if you don't help her," he told Barbara. Barbara's eyes opened wide in realization. That's what this is about, isn't it? It's about her. "She needs an operation that requires a transfusion," Belson said. "You're one of the few people with her rare blood type." Barbara nodded slowly. "Uh-huh. So why is he here? Or why is she here? She should be in a hospital." Freeze jabbed an angry finger at her. "No hospitals!" he cried. "And no more questions!" He took a step toward Barbara. Belson quickly held up a hand to stop him. "Victor!" Belson turned to Barbara and spoke softly. You wouldn't let her die, would you? Barbara wasn't buying his tactic. Listen, she responded. You kidnap me, then expect me to cooperate. I'll help her, but not here. Not this way. Freeze fired his gun blindly at Barbara. She ducked behind the table just as the freeze ray encased it in ice. Victor, no! Belson cried. Don't freeze her! Freeze fired again, but Barbara had already dodged out of the way. The ray hit a cooling tank. Barbara leaped in the air and struck at a circular valve on the tank with the iron bar. The valve flew off. Billows of steam came shooting out, enveloping Belson and Freeze. Barbara made a mad dash for the exit. The door! Belson cried. Freeze whirled and fired his weapon at the doorway. A sheet of ice formed instantly, blocking Barbara's escape. But she used her momentum. Still running, she raised the iron bar and swung with all her might. And like I said, I came across the illustration for this chapter, so I'm going to show it to you guys. Looks like that. Something looks funky with Barbara. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but she kind of looks a little hunched somewhere. Like her shoulder to neck ratio kind of looks weird to me. I don't know. The ice shattered like a glass window. Barbara plunged through the doorway and down the corridor. It was dark and lined with the pipes used to cool Freeze's room. Which way? Barbara thought. Which way? She rounded corners, moving as fast as she could. She found a door and burst into another ice-coated room. An Eskimo boy looked up at her in surprise. The two polar bears lounged near him. They growled and stood up to come after her. Wrong way! Barbara gasped. She pivoted quickly and ran out of the room, slamming the door behind her. The bears burst through it, tearing the door off its hinges. Excuse me. They galloped down the corridor after her. At that moment, Freeze came around a corner from the opposite direction. He and the bears were closing in on her from both sides. Barbara sprinted down another hallway. Freeze and the bears gave chase, but Barbara outpaced them. She turned a corner and hit a dead end. It was a wire mesh cage, a freight elevator, she realized. She punched the call button. The clicks of bear paws on the floor came closer and closer. Hey! Hey! You think you're just going to sneak on in here?
I got the North Gate job.
You did?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, come here. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. She got a job, you guys. It's been hell, but she finally got a job, so things are going to be cool.
We have barbecues.
Wait.
Yeah, we have barbecues.
Oh, at the job. I was about to say, we don't have barbecues. Awesome. Okay, tight. When do you start?
Monday.
Okay, sweet. So you're good for this weekend on the truck then, still?
Yeah, I'm going to cancel. I have like 3 working interviews that I need to cancel now.
Okay, gotcha. So. Sweet. I told Jess you would be fine, so I'm glad it works out.
Okay. Well, have fun.
All right. Where was I? Sorry, guys. But not sorry, really. I'm just, let me find where I was. They galloped down the corridor after her. Does that sound right? I think that sounds right. At that moment, Freeze came around a corner from the opposite direction. He and the bears were closing in on her from both sides. Barbara sprinted down another hallway. Freeze and the bears gave chase, but Barbara outpaced them. She turned a corner and hit a dead end. It was a wire mesh cage, a freight elevator, she realized. She punched the call button. The click of bear paws on the floor came closer and closer. Barbara looked back. The bears were charging down the corridor, followed by Freeze. She pounded the call button frantically. Come on, Barbara pleaded. Finally, the mesh doors slid open. Barbara jumped inside and hit the up button. The bears came at her full force. Barbara scrunched into a corner of the elevator. At the last second, the doors slid closed. The bears skidded to a stop, ramming into the doors. The elevator started up. The bears clawed at Barbara through through the wire mesh, growling angrily. Barbara could feel their hot breath, but the elevator kept going, leaving Freeze screaming at her from below. You'll never get away! Barbara leaned against the back of the elevator, panting for breath. Freeze sounded confident that she would not escape, but she intended to prove him wrong. What kind of building is this anyway? She wondered as the elevator stopped. It seemed like a warehouse, only different. The doors opened, Barbara rushed out, and that was when she got her first surprise. She was outside in the open air. It was still night. She looked around, trying to figure out where she was. Suddenly, the mesh doors closed. Barbara whirled and watched the elevator descend. She cursed herself for not thinking to disable it. Knowing she had only a minute or two before Freeze would be on that elevator, Barbara raced across the open deck in the dark. It was strewn with pipes and cables. She leaped over them as fast as she could discern them in the dark. But her foot caught on a cable and she fell hard to the concrete. She pushed herself back to her feet. What kind of place is this? She asked herself again. She could make out giant fuel tanks, cable spools, generators, and grappling hooks in the dimness, and as she fled. She rounded a corner. Suddenly, the ground gave way to wide open space. Barbara stopped abruptly on the edge of a precipice, flailing her arms in front of her to keep from falling off. She looked down. A wave of shock ran through her body. Her head spun with dizziness. She was staring at a plunge of 200 feet back into the dark, into black water. Okay. Lifting her gaze, Barbara could see that the water went on forever. She was in the middle of an endless stretch of ocean. Huge pylons extended from the water to the platform on which she was standing. Turning to look up, she saw a giant crane and drill rigging. The reality hit her like a fist. An oil platform, she whispered to herself. She turned and began to run the other way. But the moment she turned, she heard a zapping sound. A wall of ice blocked her way. She tried to stop, but a sheet of ice had formed on the ground. Her feet went out from under her, and she slid into the ice wall. She struck it with a grunt, shaking off the impact. She lifted herself up on an elbow and looked for an escape route. It was too late. Freeze stood over her, flanked by the polar bears, his gun trained on her. At the risk of repeating myself, he growled, there is no escape. So that's chapter 8. I don't really think there's anything to take notes on there. As far as appearances, we got Barbara Kunak for like a split second. Gregory Belson, Mr. Freeze, and Nora. There's nothing in that chapter that's non-canon. Once again, in show events is the whole book. So, I'll just copy and paste that over. References of time, like they said it's still the same night, but that's not a reference of time passing. That's a reference of time standing still. So it doesn't really matter. Concrete stuff, it's still just Mr. Freeze and Batgirl. Pop culture references, I didn't catch any. Weather, didn't catch anything. Other clues, didn't catch anything. Yeah, so nothing really in there. So what's going on in the chat? You calm down. This dialogue sucks. Yeah. It's you can't blame the novel writer because he's just going with the script from the movie that was given to him, I assume. Because I definitely remember that part being in the movie. But the movie's definitely not my favorite of anything DCAU. So I feel that. If quotes from this book aren't the same as in the movie, can it still canon? I imagine like if it's still basically the same but just slightly different, I don't see why not. Congrats, yay, congrats. Oh yeah, I'm really excited for. It is a job as a vet tech, like just 5 minutes up the road from us. It's like a 20-minute walk. So it makes everything so much easier for both of us because A, she's got a job now, and B, it's so close to the house that like she can walk there, which is great because like for the past almost 2 years that we've been living in Seattle now, I've been having to like bus to work almost all the time. So now I get to take the car because she's able to walk to work. So, it's a lot of fun. Maddie's girlfriend's quick cameo. Congrats. Hope the job treats you well. Everyone's saying congrats, babe.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys heard her, but she says thank you. Is my girlfriend Canon? Babe, are you Canon?
Canon is hell. What's up?
They're just asking if you're Canon.
Yeah, I'm Canon. Why wouldn't I be Canon?
I,
According to that one random comment, I am the DCAU.
you mean the best character?
The best character in the DCAU.
Yeah, apparently she's the best character in the DCAU. Someone said it one time, and she's been clinging on to that. Like, that's what gets her up in the morning. She wakes up and she's like, "I'm the best character in the DCAU."
It's not my fault. A stranger on the internet thinks I'm the best.
That means a bunch of strangers on the internet think I'm the best too. That doesn't necessarily make it true.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
Exactly. Go play your game or something.
I love you.
Love you too. I think they all want us to do like a joint stream someday. No, nobody's saying that, but now I'm putting the idea in their heads.
I will read the hell out of a book.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I will. I'm good at reading.
You don't read nothing.
Dude, I used to be in theater. That's like I can read.
Okay. Well, hey, Penny. Well, we got chapter 9 now. This is going to be the last chapter for the day. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is like 7 pages. So if y'all, if y'all want to do any Q&A kind of stuff, feel free to drop the Q's and the A's will come. Stephen Cruz says, "Hell yeah, get that crossover." I guess is it a crossover if you don't have your own show? I don't think it is.
It's not.
I think it's just a special guest appearance episode. But yeah, so chapter 9 is about seven pages. Go ahead, drop your Q&A stuff if you got any of it, and then we'll chit chat a little bit after I get through this. I feel like the chapters are really short this time, but it is what it is. The Gothcorp Tower rose high above the other city skyscrapers. The company where Mr. Freeze, then known as Victor Freeze, had once worked was richer than ever. Its former president was behind bars for his role in turning Freeze from a brilliant, hardworking scientist into the embittered Mr. Freeze, who could only survive at sub-zero temperatures. Better people were in charge now, including the scientist whom Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson were on their way to visit. The elevator took them to the 34th floor, home of the Gothcorp's cryogenics lab. Oh, I didn't realize that this was the same place in the movie as it was from the first Mr. Freeze episode. Huh. Bruce pushed open a door to the laboratory. The sign on the door read, Yamato, PhD, division head. Bruce poked his head into the lab. Mariko? A woman in a white lab coat looked up. Bruce! Dick! What a nice surprise! She gave them a warm smile and waved them in. I was wondering if you might be able to help me, Bruce said. Are you kidding? I've always got time for one of our major investors. What do you need? Bruce folded his arms and leaned against a lab table. How much do you know about the medical aspects of cryogenics? Mariko cocked her head. The medical side of preserving human beings? Oh, okay. The medical side of preserving human beings at very low temperatures is not exactly my specialty. But I've done some reading on it. What do you want to know? Under what conditions would a person who's been frozen in suspended animation need a blood transfusion? Asked Bruce. As far as I know, never. That's the point of the procedure. It keeps them as they are for years, centuries even, without the need for special treatments. Bruce and Dick glanced at each other, puzzled. You really ought to talk to someone who's more of an expert, though, Mariko added. Who's the foremost authority in the field? Oh, that's easy, she responded. Dr. Gregory Belson. Bruce tapped a finger on his temple, lost in thought. He knew that name, but from where? The answer came to him in a flash, but he kept silent as Mariko continued talking. Dr. Belson did a lot of the original research on the subject with Victor Fries, she said. I'd like to talk to him, Bruce said. Good luck, Mariko replied. No one's seen him for the past week. Where is he? Dick asked. Mariko shrugged. Who knows? He comes and goes as he pleases. Frankly, he's kind of a jerk. Bruce gave her a warm handshake, then turned to go. Thanks, Mariko. Sorry I couldn't be of more help. Bruce looked back and smiled. On the contrary, you've actually helped a lot. As they walked back to the elevator, Dick looked at Bruce questioningly. Belson's name was on the registration of a wrecked car Alfred and I found after the party at the other night, Bruce told him. It was lying in a pool of water. Dick looked confused for a moment. Then his eyes opened wide in realization. Melted ice! He cried. Bruce gave a nod. So what does Freeze want with the doctor? Dick wondered. Bruce's eyes narrowed. He paused a moment before stepping into the elevator, then said, Let's find out. That night, anyone glancing up would have seen two caped figures silhouetted against the starry sky of an exclusive Gotham neighborhood. They landed on the rooftop of a house whose mailbox read, Dr. Gregory Belson. Within moments, they were inside the house and inspecting the contents of the study with gloved hands. Robin rifled through the file cabinets. Batman aimed a flashlight at Belson's desk papers. One paper was a handwritten checklist of drugs and medical equipment. Nothing here except for some stock reports, Robin said. Keep looking, responded Batman. He noticed the light blinking on the answering machine. He reached over and hit the play button and listened to a refined voice on the machine. Gregory, this is your broker calling for the third time. Payment is due on those options. Accounting is breathing down my neck. You can call me at home. The number is 555-7301. Let's take care of this, okay? Batman scribbled the number on the paper with the checklist. Let's go, he said to Robin. Seconds later, the Batmobile engine roared to life. Robin punched the phone number into the computer. Hope it's listed, he murmured. The display blinked, then an address appeared. Bingo! Robin cried. Dean Arbogast at 3228 Bel Air Drive, Suite 2450, Mission Heights, he read aloud. Batman floored the accelerator and they peeled out into the night. Half an hour later, the resident of a luxury penthouse felt a breeze come in through his French doors. He rolled over in his four-poster bed, then opened his eyes. The curtains in front of the doors were lit by the moon. They swayed in the breeze. The man sat up, and then he screamed. The two dark figures stood beside his bed, their eyes glowing behind their cowls. Batman's hand came down over the man's gaping mouth. Robin leaned in with the finger to his lips and said gently, shh. The moment Batman removed his hand, the man said in a quavering voice, Please don't hurt me. Chances are we won't, Mr. Arbogast. Where's Gregory Belson? Demanded Batman. Belson? I wish I knew. With slow menace, not saying a word, Batman took Arbogast by the shirt and pulled him close. The Dark Knight's eyes bored into him. I'm telling you the truth, Arbogast said, trembling. He felt as if he were in some horrific dream where mythical figures became real. But the black glove gripping his nightshirt convinced him this was no dream. What's your interest in him? Robin asked. I'm his stockbroker. He owes me more than $2 million. If he doesn't pay by tomorrow, they're going to foreclose on him. What are you talking about? Batman said. Arbogast spoke quickly, as if his life depended on it. Belson had inside information on the new drug that was going public. He invested everything he had in stock futures. Then some bad side effects to the drug were discovered. The FDA put the whole thing on hold. Belson lost in a big way. I want to see his file and any holdings he might have in, began Batman. He was interrupted by the ring of the phone. They all stared at it, startled by the midnight intrusion. Batman calmly took the receiver off the hook and handed it to Arbogast as Arbogast said, "Hello?" Batman hit the record button on an answering machine sitting on the nightstand. "Dean, this is Gregory," said Belson on the other end of the line. "Gregory?" Arbogast exclaimed. "Where are you?" And Belson ignored the question. "You've got to buy me one more week with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Stall them. Say whatever you have to, but I'll have the cash by then." Arbogast was genuinely surprised. "You will? How? You said..." "I know what I said," Belson interrupted, "but I just struck gold." At that moment, a foghorn brayed over the line. Belson waited until the sound died, then added, "So you'll take care of that tonight, right?" Where are you?" Arbogast asked. "Oh, I just gave Belson's voice to Arbogast. Oops. Never mind. Just keep them from foreclosing for one more week. Then they'll have their money, and so will you. Gotta go." Arbogast stared at the receiver, which now emitted a dial tone. He reached for the answering machine, only to find the lid open and the cassette tape gone. When he looked up, he was alone. The curtains billowed in the breeze. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 9. That boy, you're late. You missed all the fun stuff, all the chapters. That's okay. The fun stuff is talking with you guys, if I'm being honest. Okay, so for appearances, we've got Mariko Yamato is a new character. She's the Asian scientist from the what's it called? From the movie. There's nothing really that I can think of that would make it non-canon. As far as time, she says Belson's been missing for a week. Which is weird because so far it seems like everything's kind of been like back to back to back to back. But maybe let's see. So Arbogast said payment is due on those options. I think he gave us a due date earlier in the book. No, he didn't give us or else if he did, I didn't write it down. As far as concrete stuff, it's just Mr. Freeze and Batgirl again. No pop culture references, no weather references, no other clues. It's all good. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to be late sometimes. Sometimes you show up late to the party and you just work it out. But yeah, let's see. So that's chapter 9. So that's where we are for today. I was about to stick a pin in the book as a bookmark, but I never do that. I know where I am. I got YouTube as a bookmark. Hell yeah, name drop. This book is poorly written. So I think so far, the all the past chapters seemed fine, but I do agree. Chapter 8 just felt like it was meandering a lot. I guess probably because it had a lot of chase scene stuff, and it's just there's not as much back and forth talking to each other. It's just I've got a call coming in. I don't know who it's from. I'll just let that go to voicemail. That's fine. Because I'm not expecting anyone. But yeah, we already know Mr. Freeze's backstory. Why are they explaining this again? I mean, because we know it from the episode, but the way the way that you do serialized storytelling is that you always want to make it to where someone can jump in at any point. At least with franchises and stuff. If it's a season of a show, I guess if you're watching Luke Cage and you jump in at the 7th episode, you're gonna be lost. But if you're doing some say you're doing say the MCU for instance, like we had 20 movies leading up to Infinity War. If you go back and watch Infinity War, they will definitely drop like, hey, this was a plot point from the last movie, blah blah blah, and they try to make sure that you know what's going on without necessarily having to have seen all the other movies, because that's how you make more money, is you make your product accessible to a larger audience, whether they've been in from the get-go or whether they're just popping in at this point. Sub-Zero being a movie and not necessarily part of the TV show, it makes sense to do something like that. That way someone can just jump in at the movie. And with this being a novelization, and not the on-screen stuff, like you never know who's going to pick up the novel, who hasn't even read who hasn't even watched the TV show, for instance. So it makes sense to at least be like, hey, this is, what's going on. Question: what is your favorite season of any show in the DCAU? I'd say probably Justice League Unlimited. I guess technically it's season 2. Like they always like package it weirdly to where like season 1 is up to Once and Future Thing, and then season 2 starts the next episode up to epilogue, and then they do season 3 as like the dark side season. But like sometimes they squeeze season 1 and 2 together, and season 3 is season 2. So what I'm talking about is the one from like after Once and Future Thing up until epilogue. That's probably my favorite season. Can your girlfriend defeat Darkseid since she's so strong? Hey babe. Can you 1v1 no scope Darkseid?
Dude, I'm 1v1 no scoping in Splatoon right now.
But that's not Darkseid.
That's not, I mean...
Darkseid. You know who Darkseid is, right?
No.
Hold on. I've got to show her a picture of Darkseid now, you guys. You've seen Darkseid. It's actually spelled like Darkseid. Dark S-E-I-D. Totally seen him before. That's a very small picture. This homie. The one in Superman the Animated Series that wears a skirt pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Can you beat him?
Maybe. I don't know.
They're asking because you're apparently so strong.
Since when have I been strong?
You're the best character in the DCAU, I guess. So can you beat Darkseid? Tell them, how would you beat Darkseid if you were to, huh? Did you just say I'm gay? Oh, she's high. She's been smoking that reefer. So maybe she's not the best to answer this right now. That's fine. That's
sorry.
I think she could beat Darkseid. She abuses me all the time. Have you ever seen the bruises? She hits me. She doesn't actually hit me.
So fucked up.
She doesn't
That's
actually.
So fucked up.
She doesn't actually hit me.
Don't joke about that.
She doesn't actually hit me.
Or maybe I do.
Wait, I thought we don't joke about it. Go.
Yeah, you know, I just caught. Yeah, I suck. Okay, bye. I suck. I'm embarrassed. Love you.
Love you too.
I was not talking to you.
See, if you meet Bruce Timm, can you ask him to make a Seal Boy movie or TV show? Hell yeah. Oh, I skipped over. That boy asked about showing off my collection. Is that something you guys would like to see? Because we could totally do that right now. I've got some time on my hands. You looking forward to the new Question DC Black Label series? Boy, of course, I'm looking forward to that. I think I told you about that. I think I was the one that dropped it in the Discord. Very exciting stuff. Steven says, yeah, I assume that's about my collection. So I guess we could do that. Oh, my laptop battery's getting a little low, but that's okay. I guess I should have had that one plugged up instead of this one, since I didn't even really need to use this one. Okay. All right. Oh, where do I start? Let me start with the newest piece. I mean, she's back here running tech for me right now. Yeah, I mean, if you want to plug it up, that's fine. This is how relationships work. Is you
I eavesdrop and I bring things to you.
Yeah, you help each other out. Let me plug that in.
Want me to get that? Can you?
Yeah, it's magnetic.
Okay, you're right. Sorry.
Okay, so newest thing in the collection is this Jon Stewart. I'm gonna have to pull up. Hold on. There it goes. That way I can see it without it being all pixely in the YouTube thing. So this is the newest addition to the collection. I got them for $7 at the Goodwill, like 15-minute ride up the street. I was just walking, I was walking around the Goodwill, and for some reason, usually every time I go to this Goodwill, there's like at least one DCAU thing there. I don't know why that's my luck, but I'm not gonna question it because hey, I need these things. But yeah, I just went up there to like get out of the house, and girlfriend was trying some dresses on, so I was just walking back and forth, like literally just back and forth, like past the toy aisle, and like I walked past it like 2 times already, and I hadn't seen this, and then the third time, out of the corner of my eye, lo and behold, boom, this boy. I'm like, I want to keep it closed, but I'm very tempted to open it because they have stands and trading cards for this line. And I don't know if like the back of the trading card has like any bio info on it, like ages or stuff like that, like age, height, all that kind of stuff. And if it does, it would be cool to have that to scan in. But I don't want to do that right now. I think what I'm going to do is I might try to track down the rest of this line, because if you look, their bases like spells out the Justice League because they connect together. So I might try to track down 2 of each of these, like one for display and then one to open up. Maybe if I do that, like maybe we could do like a toy review video or something. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Like I know like Chad Tronic and like channels like that, like just buy toys and open them up and like talk about them sometimes. And I feel like that would be easier than like Vanishing Point episodes are. Like I wouldn't have to like I'd still do Vanishing Point, but it'd be like something easy to do extra if that's something you guys would be interested in. But yeah, so that's the first one. Second one, right next to him, is actually another Martian Manhunter. This one's really interesting because if you look in the back, that's a different Martian Manhunter sculpt, because it's actually a transforming one. Like he has no legs in the back, that fits over this. So that's really interesting. I don't know. I guess they did that with a couple other characters, except it's not transforming. It's like they have outer shells. Superman had one, Batman had one, Green Lantern had one. So that's kind of cool. Then I have, let me just grab all 4 of these at once. So I used to, for a while, I was in a band back in Florida, and we would play in this bar that was like on the second story of, like right under it was a dollar store and a Mexican restaurant, and we would always go to the dollar store like in between bands or whatever to like grab snacks, because the bar, it was literally just a bar. There was no food, just alcohol. There was no kitchen. And so like one day when I went in there, they had like these for $1. And this was in like 2012, 2013. And these are the new Batman adventures, you know? So like they're from the 90s, and for some reason we're still in this dollar store in 2013. I can't explain it. I don't know why, but they were there. It was a Dollar General, so it wasn't like a. Well, it says so. There was a 2008 copyright date on the back of these, but either way, that's still like they were there 5 years after they were produced. That's interesting. I don't know what it was. And then there was Joker and Two-Face as well. Let me put them boys back on here. Joker and Two-Face up here. And just to give you guys another quick look, because there's two pretty cool suits going on. That Batman's got battle scars. This one's got like an orange and silver thing. Then also in that column, let me grab him too. When we were in Savannah, Georgia, living there, there was a place called Planet Fun in downtown Savannah, Georgia, and like it is a mixture of a video game store, action figures, comic books, like the whole shebang. And whenever we moved up here to Seattle, I had to get rid of a lot of my stuff there because we just weren't going to have room here for it, as well as have room in the U-Haul for it. So I got rid of so much stuff. Like I ended up making like $3,000 selling stuff to them. But there were a couple things there that I was just like, oh, well, I'm getting rid of all this stuff, so I've got room for these things. And so I picked up Dr. Light, Huntress, and the Clock King. So essentially, like I got them for free pretty much because I traded in stuff for store credit to get these. The Huntress one's kind of bent a little bit. I'll show you. Well, I guess they're both kind of bent a little bit, just in different places. But yeah, the back's got a Shade, Dr. Light, Huntress, Flash, and Superman on it. Oh, it's got a couple more in the back that you can't really see too well. Is that Orion, Etrigan? Is that Dr. Destiny, maybe? Elongated Man, Steel, Vixen, and there's a couple others I can't see too well. But yeah, that's cool. And then the from what I understand, this Clock King was a see, it says fan collection on the bottom. From what I understand, that meant you could only get some of the fan like a select few of the Justice League Unlimited line. You could only get through going to MattieCollector.com, and so this was one of them. And he actually came in a 4-pack originally, because I've gone on the site to research all this. He came in a 4-pack with Bane, Harley Quinn, and Scarecrow. They would send you all 4, but like in still slatted as single characters. And then, of course, like you got a little bio on there for Temple Fugate as well. It says, angered over a bureaucratic dismissal, Temple Fugate took on the guise of the Clock King to exact his revenge against the mayor of Gotham City. Recently, he was recruited by Amanda Waller to serve as strategist for Project Cadmus Strike Force Task Force X. So there's that. I feel like logically it makes sense to next go to where Clock King was, but since I was talking about Mattie Collector, I've actually got a whole stack of things from Mattie Collector. This one's really cool. It's got the mold is JLU Batman, but the suit is the BTAS Batman, and then it's got I can't tell if that's supposed to be JLU Joker or BTAS Joker. It looks very BTAS, but I don't know. And then we've got Grey Ghost as well, which the only other way to get Grey Ghost was literally to work for Warner Brothers or Mattel or DC. They did a holiday party that they they would give out like Gray Ghost single figures. You can look those up online. They're actually really fucking cool. I hope to own one day, but there's like a limited amount of like 100 of them. There's the back of it. But yeah, this was from this was a Mattie Collector's exclusive. My girl, or I guess I found it at that Planet Fun place that I was just talking about, and I didn't buy it. And my girlfriend ended up buying it for me as a birthday present back in 2017. So that was super cool. Then we've got these two are two of my favorites. If I remember correctly, like it's the first time that we ever got Static, Micron, or Aqua Girl in the DCAU style as action figures. Other than a Subway Kids Meal figure, this is the first Static action figure. Like, this is the first one with any articulation or anything. I really want the Subway figure just because it's the actual first figure, but like it can't move. It's stuck in place. It's like kind of janky. I had from the Static line at Subway, they had like a Frisbee, and I had that. Like all the other stuff in that line was just like gizmos and gadgets, but there was that one figure, and it's now like 20 something bucks online just for the figure. And then we've got this is the first time Blue Beetle ever was in the DCAU style as a. Let me like move that down. I feel like there's a glare. Maybe if no, that's not gonna work. But yeah, so this was the first time Blue Beetle was ever done in the DCAU style. So that's really cool. But yeah, both of these I think were the last ones from that line altogether. And I got them for pretty freaking cheap on a Black Friday sale back in 2012, I think. I want to say I bought 2 of each, and I don't remember what I did with the other ones. Maybe I gave one to James, but I can't remember, like, for the life of me what the actual situation was. Let's go back to where Clock King was. So this is Batman the Animated Series, Plants of Peril, book on tape, which I actually found at a Goodwill back in Savannah, Georgia. I just went in one day, and there was a cart full of just comic books and stuff, and they were all like marked $1 a piece. So I grabbed just as many comics as I could, and this was in the bottom of it, still packaged up like this and everything. And the interesting thing is the cassette features voices from the cast of the TV series. So this is an all new story, that wasn't on the TV, and they actually got the TV actors to voice on the cassette. I've been tempted for years to open this up, but at the same time, it's like, this is from 1993 and it's still in the packaging. Like, that's probably kind of rare. Creature of the night, Batman is driven by his mission to wipe out crime in Gotham City, bound by a personal code that forbids him from killing. He uses high-tech weaponry and a wide array of almost superhuman talents to strike fear into even the most hardened criminal hearts. Poison Ivy has escaped from the Gotham Penitentiary. With the aid of attacking plants under her control, she plans to blackmail Gotham City and gain control of nearby wetlands. Can Batman stop Ivy's scheme before her plants attack Gotham City? And then they also did Almost Got Him. It looks like it's not like a reading book. It's a comic kind of thing. So it's not like I guess it's still a reading book, but like, it's not just all text. Oh, there's sweet tea in there I just made. let me set that one back down here. Actually, I feel like the packaging's actually kind of falling apart on that one. This I got in Panama City, Florida. I'm trying to remember when, probably like 2017, 2016. I think it was around the time that I went down for my band's last show. It's a Lex Luthor with a weird armor that he never had. There's a picture of it on the back. But yeah, so that's all I got about him. I found him at a comic shop. There was a lot of other DCAU stuff as well, and he was the cheapest thing, and I was low on money, so I was just like, let me just get the one thing that I want, or that I can afford. This column, not much to say about these. There's Superman Huntress Galatea, and then Green Lantern with Fire and Ice. I don't know why they didn't put Flash in this one. I feel like it would have made more sense. They put Flash with the Question and Wonder Woman, it looks like. But yeah, so both of these I found at a Goodwill in Niceville, Florida, while I was living with my mom back in like 2012. It's like $3 a piece, something like that. That was pretty cool. Let's see. This Two-Face I found at a comic shop that was right across the street from where I was working after I moved here to Seattle. That comic shop has since closed down, and I'm kind of bummed about it because it had a lot of cool shit. It cost me $20. I think out of all of these, like, this is the one that's got like the best like packaging still on it. It's nice, it's crisp. It hasn't been in a bin at a thrift store pretty much, which makes the $20 price point on it more than fine. This Harley Quinn I bought at a it was a buy, sell, trade, used stuff store that was right down the street of where we lived when we first moved here to Seattle. I think it was like $25-$30. Not too bad. That same store, though, had a copy of the first printing of Mad Love, and I picked that up as well for $50. That thing goes for like $200, I think. So that was really cool. Got some cool Harley stuff from them. I should probably check back in that store because it's been a while. And then the last thing on this wall is the Creeper with converting camera launcher. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things that I have in this collection. I don't remember where I got it. It might have been the same place I got the Harley Quinn, but I don't remember. It actually has like really cool artwork on the back, so that's nice. I have a few other figures in my collection, but they're in a box right now, and that box isn't right here, so I'm not going to worry about going and grabbing them. But yeah, so that's everything, at least that's on the wall behind me. Oh, it looks like you guys were getting really excited about some of the stuff. Let's see. Is anyone going to tell him? Wait, is anyone going to tell me what? Is anyone going to tell me what? Do I have a subscription to the DC Universe streaming service? And am I watching the shows on that? Yeah, I've whenever it came out, I was kind of broke at the time. Oh, hold on. I'm not trying to moderate you guys. I'm clicking the wrong button on my mouse. But yeah, whenever DC Universe came out, like, I was broke at the time and waited a month on it, but like definitely ended up getting it. Hated Titans, loved Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing's okay, Young Justice is all right. I had that Joker figure when I was a kid. The new Batman Adventures one from 2008. I guess you're what, 16? I guess that would make sense. 2008 was like 11 years ago. Oh, shit. You're making me feel old, Din. If you wanted to take pics with your phone and dump them in the Discord afterward, that would be spicy. Yeah, I can do that. It's Thursday here and 1 a.m. Sorry for keeping you guys up. It's still Wednesday here. It's only 5 in the evening. The Clock King is overpowered. Yeah, absolutely. 7 a.m., but same idea. You are Mattie Collector. Honestly, that's not a lie. Is that a comic historian poster on my right? That's the Vanishing Point poster. That's the one that's always in the background. I just this is the same corner of the room. It's just I moved over a little bit.
Dad made that for you for your birthday.
Yeah, I know. Okay. How high are you? All right. But yeah, so that's the Vanishing Point poster. GG's, yes. I have an Iron Will, I guess. A 20-year-old toy that is clearly labeled new. Yeah, wait, which one? Which one's the 20-year-old toy that's labeled new? Which one's 20 years old? I'm trying to think. What is 20 years old? I guess technically anything from 99. The Superman one, maybe? I don't know which one you're talking about. I missed it. Yeah, the one in the single package. Okay, that's wild that, like, it makes me feel old, Dan. It makes me feel old. I just watched the shows for free on a random site. I'm bummed I can't get the comics, though. Yeah, I mean, I try not to pirate much anymore these days. I used to be, like, way into it, but it's, I don't know. It's inconvenient and it takes too long sometimes, but that's just me. The purple swirls on the suit. Oh, just got deported. That's no good. Damn, dude. I don't know if that's like a real comment or not, but if it is, I'm sorry, man. Like, yikes. Is that deported from the United States or somewhere else and got deported from there? That's either way, that's rough. I mean, I imagine like that probably means that you had like a life going on and shit wherever it was. That's a bummer. I hope that's not like a, well, I mean, if it's not a real thing and it's a joke, it's not a good joke. I don't know. Hell, I feel old just being reminded of that toy. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the UK, so I can't get it anyways. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, like, I would say use a VPN or something, but at the same time, it's like, they don't want to make it easy for you, so why make it easy for them? I'm saying that, but like, I gotta keep on the good side of Warner Brothers. So I'm not telling you to go out and do anything illegal, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's that. Did you guys want to see the other stuff that I've got in a box? Like, it's only, I think, 3 more things, so I don't know if it's worth bringing the box in here. Like, I had just emptied the box, put all that on the wall. I just couldn't put these things on the wall because they don't have the little hanging tags. You know what? Screw it. I can grab the things. Who would win in a fight, Darkseid and Destroyer form versus Lex Brainiac hybrid? Whoever the writers wanted to. That's all I know. But yeah, you know what? I'll grab those last couple things and show them off to you guys. I'll be right back. And here I am. So, last couple things. This is from my my current comic book store that I shop at. This was just inside the case one day. There's actually like a set of these. There's 2 different Batman poses. Then there's Joker. And then there's Penguin, Catwoman, and Robin. I already had one of the Batman poses, and I had this Joker, both outside of the packaging. But then I saw this at the comic shop for $3.99, which I still have the price tag on it. And I was just like, how can I not repurchase this for $4, you know? And just got them to put it in my bag, and we called it a day. Then I've got a couple more things from Planet Fun. I have this Batman signal jet. I've opened up the box itself. Was already the tape was already split, so I've opened up the box itself, but I haven't opened up the like the inner packaging. It's still all in this, but I've opened that up. It's all in plastic inside of that, so you know, it was only $20, so you know, can't complain. The box is very beat up, like, but you know, can't complain. Do whatever you want, dude. It had a couple like booklets with it. I need to scan these. Oh, that's upside down. Like instruction booklets, I guess. But this one was really cool because it had it was a toy catalog, and it's got like all of these Batman the Animated Series things in it, and then like what Terminator and Nerf, and oh, I forgot you need water for that. Done here. They just wanted to see my toys, and I've only got 2 toys left. So, you know. If nobody he's chit-chatting. He doesn't want to go back in. There he goes. I got this bad boy from Planet Fun, which is honestly one of my favorite fucking things in the collection. I wish I could put it up on the wall, but like I said, there's no hang tag, and it would be too heavy to like try to put on there. But apparently they did this for. This is bigger. Like this is a bigger like sculpt than the DC Collectibles line that's out right now, which is kind of ridiculous. But they did this for the main 7 and the Aquaman. I don't know why, but they did. The funny thing is, if you look at them, it looks like Wonder Woman out of all of them was the only one that needed a base. I assume probably because like she has the skinny lady legs in the Bruce Timm style. But yeah, then we got like small pictures of other toys that they were doing at the time. Mattel made some really fucking cool shit. And then the final thing, one of my favorite things. This used to be on top of the bookshelf that was behind me in the old Vanishing Point set. I have the Gotham City Enforcement Team, which consists of Batman, Nightwing, Jim Gordon, and this ugly ass Batgirl. This was the first time Jim Gordon got a figure in this style. So that's really cool. They all have their own little gizmos and gadgets and stuff. Oh, you know what? I just remembered. I've got a couple more toys. Hold on. I've got a couple more toys. Nothing like too terribly like interesting, but I have a couple more toys. But yeah, so that Gotham City Enforcement Team's really cool. The Batgirl's really ugly. I don't understand why she's got this blue thing going on. Like, her cowl, I guess. When like you can see her right here. This is what she's supposed to look like. Why does she look like this? Why is her hair like poofy at the ends? Like it's the new Batman Adventures style. She's supposed to look sleek, and she doesn't, and I hate it. But like the Jim Gordon's cool, the Nightwing is cool, so I'm not going to complain too much. I have a much better Barbara Gordon figure. So when Batman: Rise of Sin Tzu came out, they did like deluxe versions of it. I want to say there was I think the Xbox, you got Tim Drake as an action figure. For the GameCube, you got a lenticular poster, and for the PS2, you got Barbara Gordon, which like still kind of creepy ugly, but like it looks better. I think, is her hair actually like, no, okay, her hair is not like yarn, but yeah, looks a lot better. Whenever I found out about this, like I was trying to collect all the DCAU media, and so I was tracking down the video games. I have most of the games. I don't have all of them. And I found out that they had the collector's editions. And this was going for like 50 or 60 bucks at the time. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I bought a regular edition of the PS2 game and then found someone who was selling the box with Barbara separately for like 20 bucks. So I spent 25 bucks instead of 60. It was much better. And then, of course, the final things, because I'm not grabbing like all of my out of packaging toys that I have sitting on a shelf. Final things. I've got Starboy and I got Harley Quinn. You know, because how could I not? With all of this, like obviously I bought the collector's edition with the figures rather than the steel books. Plus, the Batman and Harley Quinn one like has a print version of some of the Batman and Harley Quinn comics, so that was really cool. I didn't know that they were going to end up getting a trade paperback, so I was just like, I got to get this just in case. But yeah, so that's all the toys. Oh, y'all going on about some stuff. Makes sense to me, but when the world needed him most, he vanished. That you're dead. Who's dead? Just finished my Minecraft house. I feel accomplished. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Are you going to Comic-Con or have you ever been? So I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. I would love to go. James and I started recently going to Emerald City Comic-Con. We've been 2 years in a row now. We've got videos of our experience up on the Watchtower Database channel. Ted came with us last time. So that was really fun. We get press passes for that so long as we sign up. I assume we could get them for San Diego Comic-Con as well, but it's a much further away drive for us to try to do. Emerald City Comic-Con is literally like 10 minutes from my house, and I'm like 4 hours from James's house, whereas San Diego Comic-Con is like a 15 to 20 hour drive. So fuck is that? Is that how toys used to come packaged? Are you talking about the bat signal jet? Yeah, I mean, you know, stuff like that. Like, I guess, as far as like vehicles or stuff like that, like they would come in a box, instead of having like the plastic on it to show you what it is. They would just have a picture of it. Toy packaging used to be an absolute nightmare. Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to ask if there was a BTAS Batman game in the style of the Arkham games. How cool would that be? Scale of 1 to 10. I'd be all for it. I'd 100. I can't wait to show you my toys, Mattie Washburn. Yeah, that's me. That's me. You guys wanted to see the toys, so I was just trying to show them to you guys. Oh, there's 11 of y'all here. That's more than's been here the whole time. Yo, those big figures were so great. I want the rest of them. Like, that Aquaman's just too cool to not track down the rest. I've talked to James about wanting to start a DCAU museum, and I don't know how to get the funding for that. But it would be so sick to like have all the toys and like the animation cells and the statues and all that kind of stuff. But I don't like, I don't know how to get the funding for that, and I don't know like how successful it would be because it's so damn niche. Closest thing that kind of game is probably Sinzu, which I just brought out here. Damn, they left Tim out of that toy pack SMH. Right? They gave us an ugly Barbara and forgot Tim altogether. Why have Tim when you can have... I hope he brings out a Buzz Lightyear or something. So my younger brother was like way into Toy Story when he was younger and had like so many Buzz Lightyear's toys. Like literally look up Buzz Lightyear toys. There were so many different variants. It was fucking ridiculous. And he had almost all of them. Again, putting some higher quality pics up in the Discord would be Liddy 450. Oh yeah, absolutely. How do you get the Discord? So if you want to get on our Discord channel, you know what? Hold on. I will actually, let me get a link to that. Where's the invite link? I was going to say go to this place and then click this thing, but it'll be much easier if I just hit the invite link. It'll slow down the stream because, you know, because I'm sitting here doing other stuff now, but that's okay because, you know, you guys are worth it.
Destroying my game.
And boom, Discord link is in the chat. Is it me or has the stream been more about his toys than the actual book? Yeah, kind of. The book went by quickly and then someone asked to see my toys. So, you know, there it goes. Do I have Superman 64? I do. I have it complete in box. It's got a comic with it, a poster, all this cool kind of shit. That should take you there. What should take? Don't drag me into this. I joined in late. My friend's dad had the whole set of all of them. Always was jealous. Yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. Let's see. I had a Toy Story 2 Buzz, the one with the blue belt, fake Buzz. Yeah, there were a shit ton of Buzz Lightyear variations. I don't know if any of the other Toy Story toys got it, but like it's ridiculous. Look them up. They're really fucking cool. It's kind of like how when Batman the Animated Series came out, how there's so many different like BTAS Batman variants. But yeah, you know, that was the book. That was the toys. We've gone on for about an hour and a half, so I think it's time to call it. Discord link's right there. I'll probably hop in there, drop some pictures if anybody wanted any of them. But yeah, that's it for today. I'm gonna go ahead and call it on the stream. I love you guys. I will see you next week. I'll be here Wednesday, 4 o'clock to read chapters 10 through 12. But until then, if you want to chit chat, Discord link is there. I'm on Twitter at Mattie Washburn. So those are two places that you can find me. But yeah, it's been a real fun time. You guys enjoy your evening or morning because some of you guys are across the ocean, from what I understand. But yeah, you know, we'll do this next week. Lots of fun. Love you guys. Stay safe, cool. I don't know. Stay you. That's all I'm gonna ask of you.